More than we can handle. That's what I want to talk about today. More than we can handle. And when I'm thinking about that, John 16:33 is where I want to go, because John 16:33 is a promise of inner peace amidst guaranteed earthly trials that we're going to go through in this life. And Jesus assures followers to take heart, or be of good cheer rather, because he has already overcome the world's sin, death, hostility. He's paid the price, right? So we have to find strength in his ultimate victory rather than avoid suffering, offering hope, comfort, and security. John 16:33 also is reminding us believers that suffering is expected, but it's not the final outcome. It's not the final outcome. And it's just encouraging Christians to continue serving God despite our life challenges, relying on peace with God rather than peace in circumstances. You know, we got to have courage, be confident, be of good comfort. You know, overcome our triumphs and prevail, and we gain victory. You know, we defeat whatever we're going through. But God is there during our troubles, our trials, our sufferings, our hardship, our persecutions. He's there. Because hardship is guaranteed. But it is temporary. It's temporary. Because Christ's victory is eternal, and it's already been achieved. Already. Now who all have heard someone say, God will never give you more than you can handle? I'm sure we all have. Who's heard it? God will never give you no more than you can handle. I know I've heard it. But now I'm guessing they're paraphrasing 1 Corinthians 10:13, which says, God will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But trials and temptations are two different things. Trials and temptations are two different things. So when people are saying God will never give you no more than you can handle, think about 1 Corinthians 10:13, which is God will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. Sin is going to always be a choice. It's not the inevitable resulting of crushing temptations. It's not. But somehow that verse has been twisted to mean that we won't experience more trouble than we can bear. In fact, nothing could be further from the truth. Because God will often allow more than we can handle. But he'll never allow more than he can handle. So our whole lives are more than we can handle. And that is why we need Christ. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. I needed God to stay the course while I went through all of my depression. I was going through all of my stuff. I needed him when I was single and raising these children. I needed him when I sought a job. Now that my kids are raised and I have a grandchild, I needed him. And I definitely have more than I can handle. But only in his strength and wisdom can I know what is best for my family. And whether or not my desires are selfish or pure, he'll let me know. In relationships and marriages, it is possible to win a fight but lose ground. And it's a lesson most of us have learned the hard way anyway, right? We never learn our lesson until we do something and learn the hard way. So that's why we need God in the important things, because life is too much. It's more than we can or were created to handle anyway. And that's just my opinion. I just think the bottom line is life is hard. And I know I need God in every minute of every day because I'm often faced with more than I can handle. I am. And if you go back to 2 Corinthians, 1st chapter, 8th through the 10th verse, Paul understood that when he wrote those words to the Corinthians. He said, "We do not want you to be unaware, brothers and sisters, of our afflictions that took place in Asia. We were completely overwhelmed beyond our strength, so that we even despaired of life itself. Indeed, we felt that we have received the sentence of death, so that we would not trust in ourselves, but in God who raised the dead." It says he has delivered us from such a terrible death, and he will deliver us. We have put our hope in him that he will deliver us again. That's what Paul said. In 2 Corinthians, 1st chapter, 8th through the 10th verse. Paul was sharing that intense, life-threatening afflictions he suffered in Asia, where he felt burdened beyond measure, and he really did expect to die. But it was meant for him to stop relying on his own strength and to trust entirely in God, because God holds the power to raise the dead, right? Sometimes we go through stuff that it just surpasses our capabilities to endure it, causing despair in our lives. Just, we don't know what to do. But that's when we call on God. We have to call on God more than we can handle. More than we can handle. But God holds the power. And we need to call out to him. We need to ask God for help each and every day.